Let's start again.
Hey everyone, Blackout here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'll be talking about the topic, what if Bluefur hadn't given up her kids to Oakhart? Warning before I start, the art will contain gore and animal death, and also here's a brief summary of the topic and what led up to that point, which is towards the end of Bluestar's prophecy, and a small spoiler for one small plot point in River, the newest arc, A Starless Clan's first book. Skip to the timestamp on the screen for after the summary and to the story that goes with the prompt. Okay, in Bluestar's prophecy, Bluefur had Oakhart's kits. Goosefeather, the medicine cat of ThunderClan at the time, had come to Bluefur telling her that she needed to give up her kits to save ThunderClan, because if she didn't, Thistleclaw, another warrior, would become the new deputy and then leader of the clan. Later on, Bluefur had seen a vision of blood all over Thistleclaw. She had given her kits to her mate, Oakhart, but not until after Mosskit had died of hypothermia due to the cold. Mistykit and Stonekit later grew up to be Mistyfoot and Stonefur, both former deputies of RiverClan, and Mistyfoot becoming Mistystar after Leopardstar's death, later dying herself for an unknown cause, as I mentioned in the book River of a Starless Clan. Now, without further ado, let's get on the story of what if Bluefur hadn't given up her kits. Bluefur had woke up when she felt a sharp prod at her side. She opened her eyes and gave a sharp hiss. A great shape stood over her. Mosskit mewed in one plate in her sleep as Bluefur sat up in their nest. The cat frowned down at her. Thistleclaw. He growled at her. Get up, he meowed. Sunstar wanted me to wake you. He needs to talk to you. He scoffed, adding under his breath, not sure why though. Bluefur nodded, ignoring him. All right. She hesitated. Thanks, Thistleclaw. She added reluctantly in a cold tone. He nodded, looking surprised. Yeah, sure, he muttered, his eyes narrowing again as usual. She hesitated at leaving her kits. They were still kind of young and she didn't want to leave them, but they were still sleeping, and she wouldn't be gone for long. He turned and walked away, and Bluefur got up, following him to the leader's den through the snow. But he wasn't going there. Instead, he went to the prey pile with Tigerclaw, a newer warrior of ThunderClan who Thistleclaw had mentored himself. Bluefur often wondered why Thistleclaw and Tigerclaw hung out together, considering they were mentor and apprentice. She always thought it was a bit strange. She padded through the piles of snow around camp to Sunstar's den and went inside. Sunstar? She asked. You wanted to see me? A voice called to her from inside. Yes, Bluefur. Sunstar meowed. Come in. She obeyed, padding inside. She shook the snow off her paws outside of his den. I know how much it would mean to you to be deputy. I was there too before Pinestar had chose me. He trailed off, looking her in the eyes. But, Bluefur prompted. A wave of sadness crashed over her when she realized what he was saying. He was gonna choose Thistleclaw. I'm sorry, I just think being deputy with young kids would be hard on you and a lot to deal with. Those kids need their mother. Bluefur forced down the bile rising in the throat. Who are you going to choose instead? Bluefur forced herself to ask. Sunstar hesitated. I'm not sure, he admitted, which gave her hope. There are a lot of good warriors out there. I was thinking maybe Thistleclaw. He's a strong warrior and he did well training Tigerclaw. Her heart sank. Sunstar, Bluefur protested, but Sunstar cut her off. I can see your disappointment. Sunstar meowed. But I don't see why you really don't want Thistleclaw to be deputy. Is it because of Snowfur and how he blamed you? No, it's not, she told him. She wondered if she should tell him about the vision. I promise you, it's not. Bluefur sighed. I have a vision about Thistleclaw. She sighed again and quickly told him about the vision. Are you sure it was a vision? Sunstar asked. Bluefur nodded. Goosefeather saw it too, she told him. Sunstar murmured. I'll talk to Goosefeather about it. Thank you for letting me know, Bluefur. Let all cats old enough to catch their own prey gather beneath the high rock for a clan meeting, Sunstar called. When all the cats had gathered, he continued. Cats of ThunderClan, Tony Spots had decided to retire to the Elder's Den. I've thought long and hard, and I've decided that Thistleclaw would be my new deputy. Thistleclaw? But Bluefur had warned him about the vision. He had even talked to Goosefeather about it. Bluefur's mind flashed to when Goosefeather had told her to give up her kits, and that he knew the father was Oakhart. He has also said that Thistleclaw would destroy the clans if she didn't, but these were her kits, the only litter she'd ever have. She couldn't just get rid of them. They were too important to her clan. But she had to do something about Thistleclaw. She had to make sure he didn't hurt her clan, that he wouldn't hurt the other clans too. A few months later, Mistypaw, Stonepaw, and Mosspaw had become apprentices. Mistypaw had got Dappletail as her mentor, Stonepaw had gotten Adderfang as her mentor, and Mosspaw got Thistleclaw as her mentor. His training was rough, and Mosspaw was tired after their sessions, but there was a gleam, a glow in her eyes that Bluefur had never seen before, and she didn't like it. After a couple moons had passed, Mosspaw had been out on a patrol, and Bluefur had been in camp sharing prey with Stormtail and Rosetail when Thistleclaw had ran into camp, an unmoving body draped over his back. He let out a yowl, letting every cat know that he was there. Sunstar ran out of his den, over to Thistleclaw as he lowered the gray and white body down off his back. Mosspaw. What happened? Sunstar asked. I don't know, Thistleclaw told him. She was hunting, and I was letting her hunt a little bit on her own. And I came to find her, and she was dead. His unreadable eyes flicked to Bluefur, who was standing nearby before she rushed over to her kit's body. Mosspaw, no, she howled. She stood and looked down at the body. Cats came out of the dens at the sound of her yowl, but Bluefur didn't care. Why did Mosspaw have to die? She was so young. It's all Thistleclaw's fault. How could he leave her alone? Why did Bluefur have to be through so many deaths? Snowfur, moonflowers, now Mosspaw's death. Fur brushed Bluefur's side. I'm so sorry, a soft voice said. She turned to look, and she saw Rosetail, her best friend, at her side, and her father went to her other side and gave her a worried look. This never should have happened, Rosetail finished. Stormtail nodded. It shouldn't have. They were right. It never should have. But there was only one cat to blame for her death. Thistleclaw would pay. It was midnight, and Mosspaw's vigil was still going on. Bluefur sat sadly at her kit's side, and her litter mates slept near her body together. They had fallen asleep not long ago. Thistleclaw and Sunstar had stayed on the high rock, and Bluefur could feel Thistleclaw's gaze burning into her pelt. She ignored it and curled in her tail and leaned over a little. She stared at her kit's body. Nothing like this could happen again. She couldn't let it. She'd have to stop Thistleclaw herself. The moon was high in the sky when Bluefur left camp. Thistleclaw and a few other warriors had gone out on a night patrol. The perfect opportunity, Bluefur thought. As Bluefur came closer to where the patrol was supposed to be, she heard voices. "All right," one of them meowed, his voice having the usual hint of a growl. "I'll go over there. Threshpelt, you can patrol over there, and Dappletail, you go over there." Bluefur crept after Thistleclaw as quietly as she could until he stopped and tasted the air. When she knew the time was right, she silently prayed to her clan an apology for doing this, but she knew she had to. The clan needed this. She needed to save them from Thistleclaw and what he'd become as their leader. So she leaped, and his cry of pain was cut off as she slashed his throat open with her claws. Before the patrol came, she ran off and hoped they'd never figure out the truth to Thistleclaw's murder. Murder. The word didn't sit right. She wasn't a murderer. It was for the good of ThunderClan. She thought of the vision, which reassured her. The next day at Moonhive, Sunstar had called over the clan to the high rock. "Cats of ThunderClan," his meow rang across the camp. "Our deputy was taken from us last night. He was murdered. So, I must choose a new deputy. Bluefur, you are a strong and loyal warrior. You will be ThunderClan's next deputy." "Bluefur! Bluefur!" Bluefur glanced up and met Sunstar's warm amber eyes. She smiled and padded up to him. "Thank you," she told him, lowering her head. "I won't let you down." Well, that's it. I'm so sorry this video took me so long. It really shouldn't have. It was more so me procrastinating and school and being busy. But it's done now, and I hope you guys enjoyed the story and liked the art. I worked very hard on this. But anyway, bye!